When two parents are going through a divorce, it's important that ultimately it's not about taking sides, but understanding that we still love you. That's what's going on here. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Joseph made a video. I made a video. He did a reaction. Now I'm doing a reaction. So this is the final chapter in the end of the saga. All right. Content creators are just one singular brain cell tossing it around like a volleyball, trying to create as much ad revenue as possible via this artificially generated content. It's not drama, it's just two people speaking, right, guys? Okay, so anyway, context for those missing or those who have not been around or wondering what the hell is going on. Put very simply, Joseph made a video called Master Duel's Killing the TCG. I replied to it. He reacted to that reply. Yeah. So let's just get something out of the way because I know that based off of Joseph's, reactions in the past and stuff, this is what this is essentially going to boil down to. It's going to be a couple of criticisms about minor speaking mistake, and he's going to pretty much revolve his reaction around the fact that I didn't understand the point of his video. That's what's going to be the main sort of argument here. I can only assume. The issue that this brings up is, I believe, is that he is miscommunicating his point. That's the problem. This really just boils down to this. The video is called Master Duel is Killing the TCG. That's his point, right? His point is that Master Duel is killing the TCG. Okay. We're all familiar with clickbait. We all like a little bit of clickbaiting and sensationalizing. Listen, I'm more than familiar with this type of stuff, all right? Makes sense. However, you actually get into the video and you watch and you start taking a look at what's being said. Very introduction, very beginning of the video leads with what?
The death of the TCG monoculture has grown the community immensely, but it's also cost something. And
Death of the monoculture is basically, just for context, it's essentially saying that there is not one way to enjoy or view Yu-Gi-Oh! You can look at memes, you can do deck profiles, you can have fun with sealed, etc., etc. That's the context, just in case anyone thinks I'm taking this out of context. This is the main premise that you would assume when you enter a video, the rest of the content is juxtaposed by.
As I ruminate on what that thing is and why it might matter, I find myself coming to the same conclusion over and over and over again. Master Duel is destroying the TCG.
What is it about this point that I'm misunderstanding? When someone explicitly says Master Duel is fundamentally destroying the TCG, what is the takeaway from that as a viewer? The takeaway from that is he's saying Master Duel is destroying the TCG. He elaborates.
In a myriad of ways, through a myriad of forms, the continued success of Yu-Gi-Oh's online component is coming at the active detriment of paper play, and I want to talk about it.
And then chapter 1, with the title card, is Master Duel is killing the TCG. What is it about his point have I missed here? What is it about all of this that I've misunderstood? He is saying Master Duel is killing the TCG. He is saying the success and continued growth of Master Duel is a detriment and is coming at the cost of the TCG. So, if you take anything away from this video, before you start yapping, before you make a comment, I agree with pretty much everything he says in this video. That's the irony. I agree with pretty much everything he says. Why is it, therefore, that we disagree? It's not that the points he's making I disagree with or I think that are wrong. It's that he is miscommunicating the point of the video. Why do we title the video like this? Clickbait, sure. You can counteract with that. But the introduction, the hypothesis of the entire segment is Master Duel is killing the TCG. What is there to misinterpret here? Master Duel's success and growth is in active detriment to the TCG. What can you possibly misunderstand about this? Is it perhaps possible that there is no misunderstanding here? He is miscommunicating what he's trying to say. So this should be a quick react because everything that he's going to say, I assume, can basically just boil down back to this point. You guys learned to pee when you were in school? You guys learned to pee? I learned to pee. What is peeing? Maybe it's a Scottish education system type of thing. But here's how it works. Point, evidence, evaluation. That's how you write. You make a point, you provide evidence, and you evaluate. That's very simply how structured essays should work. I learned that as a kid. However, maybe he isn't trying to make some sort of epic debate video. He's just giving his musings. Which is fine. I understand that. But my problem isn't that, I'm criticizing that he didn't give enough stats and data and evidence. That's okay. But the problem is that the video is kind of giving that vibe, but then it sort of tapers off into like this kind of, we're talking about like, product. We're talking about like his experience at the event, and then like, so the video is confused. It isn't like it's trying to do multiple different things. It starts with like this hypothesis, and then it kind of goes into this different direction where it gives some anecdotes, but then it doesn't really come back to the original point. You know what I mean? So I don't know. And again, you can say that it's basic hyperbole. It's exaggeration. But what is it about? I'm sorry. I fundamentally disagree. This is not exaggeration. When you say
community immensely, but it's also cost something. And as I ruminate on what that thing is and why it might matter, I find myself coming to the same conclusion over and over and over again. Master Duel is destroying the TCG. In a myriad of ways, through a myriad of forms, the continued success of Yu-Gi-Oh's online component is coming at the active detriment of paper play. And
sorry, there's no room for misinterpretation here. Master Duel is actively a detrimental pain on the TCG. What is there to misinterpret? All right. So now that I've got that elongated out the way, I'm not going to try and pause this too much. I'm just going to let him speak. And only if and until he says something that I really feel like I haven't already said at this point, we'll interject.
all right, here we go.
Is dying.
All right, so this is the Farfa content nuke, which first and foremost, I told you all, Farfa is Ethan. Do I need more evidence?
Okay, Hamas Abi. All right, shut the fuck up. Get me on the hummus tier list.
Probably not. All right, so if you missed it, I posted a video called Master Duel is Killing the TCG, and I'll restate the thesis here. A lot of people understood that it wasn't a really argumentative video. It was more so just an observation.
I've already said my piece on this, right? It wasn't an argumentative video. It was just an observation. Okay. I've already said everything I need to about this point, right? Right? It's like I pre-watched it. You know what I mean? You just didn't get my point. Okay.
Konami has repeatedly kind of failed.
And he's good at it. Exactly. That's the thing. He is good at it. It's good. It is a good observation. My issue is the conclusions he has drawn from it. Or rather, he didn't even really draw conclusions. It was more of a what's the thing you do before a conclusion? Preposition? A hypothesis he gives. The big freaking title card, red text says, Chapter 1, Master Duel's killing TCG. I don't know, man.
In a lot of ways. From failing to release sets that people feel good about buying, to failing to support community-led efforts to create formats.
Farfa is the Jew of the wonky quartet. That is a Twitch chat, Joseph. That's a Twitch chat.
Like,
I'm not reading my chat. I'm reading his chat, by the way.
Edison, in favor of the digital product, Master Duel. You can see a direct example of this in how time...
That was an Ethan reference he was making, by the way. That wasn't, like... that was nothing to do with the what's it called?
Time travel is being brought into the fray.
Sorry, one sec. This one at my door. Sorry.
Of side events of YCSs while Time Wizard is being kicked out. I believe these are connected, obviously.
I think we'll get to that point
Master
later.
Duel, and the numbers support this, I think, is a cash cow. It makes them so much money, and it has no overhead. You know, you don't have to pay anyone to run events. You don't
I don't want to make this like the whole EU NA thing, but like this just complete like object permanence of the existence of other like countries and places is insane. First of all, Master Duel no overhead. Does he think like the janitor comes into the Japanese office in the morning and then just turns on a light? And then like what does he think like game design is? What does he think a programmer's for? What does he think like goes on? The European community, the European section of Yu-Gi-Oh! Runs Challenger Cups. These are weekly, 2 or 3 times per week, that have been running for years at this point. 2 years almost? Where they are outsourcing that to a company in France who is dealing with running the tournament, prize support. That's money. They're paying staff. Like, there are plenty of overheads. It's sense compared to running IRL events? No, it's not. No, it's not. Events are more? Absolutely. 100%. Not saying that. But it's not sense. Let's not misconstrue this, okay? I think you don't... that is not correct.
Have to pay distributors to get product or make anything. You just have the digital client where you can push updates as you desire. So from their perspective, I think they are going in on Master Duel. Now, I say in this video, I don't think this is like necessarily even a bad thing.
I don't want to interject too much, but when he says they're going in on Master Duel, I just want to be clear that it's not a competition. They're 2 different departments. 2 things can be true simultaneously. Like the TCG department doesn't clock in at 9 a.m. in the California office and they're just like, so you have a good weekend, Jerome? What you do? No, they're working. They're actively working on the TCG, right? Same with Master Duel, I assume, in Japan, right? So this is, again, my whole point that I brought up in my video is like it's a symbiotic relationship. Both want to be successful because they feed into one another.
I think there's a chance that the TCG was just going to chug along, getting fewer and fewer people every year until inevitably Yu-Gi-Oh! Kind of collapsed under its own weight. And Master Duel may be the thing that saves Yu-Gi-Oh! In a lot of ways. A readable client that people can sink their teeth into that just have some time at home and don't want to like commit to paying $1,000 for a deck and going to a 4-hour local event. So is the title clickbait? I don't think so. I do think.
Is the title clickbait? I don't think so. Okay, so what was the title? Master Duel's killing the TCG. Cool. So what is it I've misunderstood? His hypothesis, his conclusion is Master Duel's killing the TCG. What have I misunderstood?
I think that the existence of Master Duel is killing the TCG, but I think the person responsible for the TCG's death is ultimately Konami, because they...
Okay, but when you say Konami, does he mean TCG or Master Duel? That's where we disagree on. Yeah, if TCG is failing, it's Konami's fault, but whose specifically? I think it's TCG's. If TCG product does badly, it's because TCG is doing badly. He is implying and insinuating and stated very explicitly Master Duel is the problem.
Are failing paper, and for the first time ever, people have an alternative. Let's see what Farfa got for my video.
Just to spend a tiny little bit of time on this point here. So a lot of this is kind of running along this parallel argument that TCG, and there's a big assumption here, that TCG is failing because people who are frustrated and disenfranchised with the TCG now have an alternative. If you are sick of the TCG, you can go play Master Duel, right? So Master Duel is taking away those players. Correct? Seems logical on the surface. This is not true. Master Duel has something... Sorry, TCG has something that Master Duel will never, ever have. Master Duel could be the greatest format in the history of the game. It could be free to play, best format, royal rares for everyone, interactive, greatest fucking version of Yu-Gi-Oh! You can ever have, and some people who love Yu-Gi-Oh! Will still not play Master Duel. Do you know why? Why is that? Can anyone think why? Because there is something fundamental to the TCG that Master Duel does not offer.
Hey guys.
Shoutouts to Ruggles.
Today is a big
Community.
one because we are going
Social
to our final
aspect.
locals, pre-nap,
Human interaction.
and after that,
Emotional bonds.
we're going to nationals.
Networking.
So we have some big decisions
Touching
to make,
fucking
and
grass.
here I do.
This is something you cannot replicate and you cannot imitate. So the people who are playing the TCG, fundamentally, I believe a lot of them are playing the TCG for this reason. If your goal, and the only thing you cared about, was to play Yu-Gi-Oh! From a gameplay perspective and nothing else, you would not be playing TCG. You would be on Dueling Book. You would be one of those DB warriors. You'd be grinding in tournament discords with money matches, and that's it. Right? But why aren't people doing that? Because it's not the same as going to a locals and experiencing real life. So all of this to say, we haven't even started the video yet, by the way. Streamers, huh? All of this to say, my point here is that when a lot of this argument is kind of predicated on Master Duel is taking away players from the TCG because it's so much more convenient to play the TCG, to play Master Duel. It's cheaper, etc., etc. All of that is true, but there is a fundamental thing that tens of thousands of people still will stick to playing the TCG and OCG for over Master Duel. While Joshua Schmidt can qualify for the DC Cup because he has diarrhea for 4 hours on day 3 during Duelist Cup 2024, I made that up, but theoretically, you could qualify to Worlds on the toilet. That's a great benefit, but that's not enough of a pull for some people because TCG is important. The community is important. Social aspect is a fundamental thing that the TCG has. So people don't just quit TCG and go to Master Duel because it's more convenient. There is a huge swathe of players who will not quit TCG for Master Duel because it doesn't matter how good Master Duel is. What matters to them is what Ruggles displays in his weekly vlogs. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is dying. Perhaps at this point you have become accustomed to this verbose, elongated explanation as to why Yu-Gi-Oh! Is once again hurtling towards its own demise.
Okay, first and foremost, I love scripted Farfa. Scripted Farfa is so fucking funny. I love the way he writes.
It's like pre-watched, isn't it? It's like pre-watched. What did I say that he would bring up? I didn't understand the argument and what? Minor spelling mistake? He doesn't like the way I talk. He doesn't like the way I write. See?
Second, let's make fun of Farfa's recommendeds. We have...
Bro, shut up. You've got the Epstein files in your recommendations, okay? Don't try and criticize... I've got Brilliant Fusion, okay? You've got the freaking files there, buddy.
Turkey Tom. We have a pirate software video. And third of all, how dare you?
Speaking of pirate software, by the way. Speaking of pirate software. These two are locked in a room. Whoever admits to being wrong first gets to leave. Who gets out? Who gets out? Who gets out first? I don't think it's pirate software.
You compare me to Sladra. Sladra's 20 times the duelist I ever was.
Over the last few months, with things such as poorly performing products and the bizarre decision Konami has made to essentially nuke classic Yu-Gi-Oh!, it's no wonder that we are once again having this discussion as to why Yu-Gi-Oh! Is again in its death throes. This time, the problem is Master Duel.
And as I ruminate on what that thing is and why it...
Do you know what he did just... Did you see that? Did you see what he just did there? You see how he scrolled down? He was checking to see who edited the video. Because he likes the editing of the video. He's trying to yoink my editors. He is trying to do this, by the way. Genuinely. He messaged one of my editors that no one in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community uses. He has taken everything from me.
might matter. I find myself coming to the same conclusion
Who edited this? It better not be fucking...
Master Duel is
What? Literally caught. Literally got. Look, he's still checked. Who edited this?
destroying the TCG
better
in a
not be
myriad of
dire.
ways, through a myriad of forms. The continued success of Yu-Gi-Oh!'s online component is coming at the active detriment
Vlad?
of
Okay,
paper
it's
play.
a Dire v Vlad proxy war.
When I first watched this video, I kind of took it at face value, a sort of well-structured and presented rant that kind of organizes shower thoughts of some of the passing frustrations of someone who primarily plays the TCG. With personal anecdotes littered throughout, it kind of felt more like a love letter to the TCG and all of its positives and great things Yu-Gi-Oh! Has done for all of our lives on a personal and community level.
I think I would say that that's probably a fair characterization of the video.
However, there are some things brought up which
But it's
feel
not the
very
point you were
misleading and in some cases incorrect. At the start anyway. Before looking at some of the points here, I just want to clarify something and of course, naturally set out a bit of a disclaimer as someone tries to give an opinion on the internet. This is not drama. This is
It is. Fuck you, Farfa. Buy extra wallets.
not a haha gotcha moment. What was that? What was the comment your viewer made about me at the start of this video? Yeah, I guess it is drama.
This is just a healthy discussion that I want to have in the form of a consolidated, structured
This is no
response
longer
video
healthy
about a topic that
discussion. Show me
ultimately
your balls.
myself, MBT, and all of you watching most likely really care about: the health and growth and sustainability of the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG. We want success for the game at all levels, from the humble local basement to the big esport fancy arenas. We want the game to be accessible and to grow symbiotically and in tandem with one another, not in spite of one another. And if that's not
Right. I think that's just where we disagree.
What do you disagree with? You don't want the game to be better. What is he disagreeing with? Okay, I'm not gonna pause. Like, finish your point.
I think that Master Duel is a little more zero-sum than he thinks it is.
what you want to see from the game, then this video is not for you.
Okay, we're not. There's no point in engaging with that. Whatever.
Oh,
Sure.
so this guy is going to
Agree
hate
to
on
disagree.
MBT, but MBT's in his YouTube members?
You're not a YouTube member. You're a Patreon. You cheapskate.
The WCQ was huge.
No offense, patrons. No offense, patrons. It's just that, you know, Patreon is cheaper than, YouTube channel membership. I'm just saying.
2,800 people showed up, each sporting an invitation hard won from another huge tournament. This puts it on pace with one of the biggest WCQs of all time, but I couldn't help but feel small. Unlike other WCQs, to me, this one felt like the 2,800 people in this room were the last people playing the TCG on the planet. Over the past few years, I've watched almost all of my friends, lifelong Yugists, and a significant number of my colleagues on YouTube.
That was a crazy line when, the more time that passed when I thought about it. It felt like we were the last duelists on the planet playing the TCG. What a crazy line. Like, I don't want to invalidate feelings, obviously. If that's how it felt, then fair enough. Maybe your real life friends didn't show up and stuff like that, but it's just crazy to say that when record-breaking numbers are occurring. I don't know.
Stop playing the TCG altogether.
Now, I really
That's true. I mean, that's true for people I know in real life and for these idiots.
don't want to approach this from the perspective of some sort of
But again,
epic
Joseph,
Reddit debate lord.
was
So I'm
it
only really
Master
trying
Duel, or
to...
was
He's
it because
getting- okay.
you're a millennial who is friends with millennials who are getting older and having kids and getting careers and starting businesses and moving across the planet or the country and getting different jobs and getting houses and mortgages? Are these things? Is it Master Duel, or is it maybe because like your friend group are getting older and this is another aspect we didn't really talk about too much?
Place your bets now. Is he going to approach it from the perspective of an epic Reddit debate lord?
bring the stats
Yes.
into this just as
Yes.
a way
Yes,
to
you've established
elucidate
this.
more
Yes, this is
objective
now an
realities
epic
that I think
debate
are
on
at play
Reddit.
here. First and foremost, it absolutely sucks to see the people around you quit the game. Those feelings should never be
Except
invalidated.
Joseph, it wouldn't suck
This is
if he
just
quit.
like not drama, Farfa. I got to get the grade A under A back. Just like, hey, I don't want to invalidate your feelings. We see you, we hear you. Old Farfa would have just called me a slur and been done with it.
Best friends, call
I can do it if you want. I can still do it. You
colleagues, people that brought you into the game, people you learned how to play with, and even went to your first
By the way, this is the best part of the video.
major tournaments alongside, and potentially formed lifelong connections with.
Nice noodle legs, buddy.
Nice fucking small fucking rabbit cock.
But the matter of
Why is that in this video?
fact,
Because you were talking about friends and like people around you at events. So I put one of my old vlog clips in. It was a good kill. It was a good clip. Nice small Arabic cock. It was a good bit.
here is that Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG has been doing better than it's ever been. Over the course of the last 6 years of data, we can see that YCS attendance across both regions, North America and Europe, haven't exactly skyrocketed, but they are on a somewhat modest upward trajectory.
Ah, man, what do you want me to say about this? I feel like this is one of the premises of my argument, right?
Okay, well then explain. Why is this chapter 1?
Because I say it's a big YCS. It's the second biggest Nats ever. The thing is,
Hold up. Editor leak here. Aside from the content, how much of this video did you storyboard script and how much did Vlad come up with? Everything? Sorry, what does Joseph have you doing? All of it was, I wrote it, I told him what to show on screen, I sourced all the information and data. Sorry, what? Is this a thing we can do? I'm asking because sometimes you don't give me direction. Well, yeah, you're the editor. You edit the things together, but I write the video. Like, what do you mean? Does he do this? Can I pay you to like just do the stuff for me? I think that's what researchers are for, huh? Yo, we have an MBT spy here. That's crazy. Dyer's the ghostwriter. Wait, so this video sucks because Dyer wrote it, right? I'm asking, was the TV on screen your idea or Vlad's? Oh, that was mine. It was like calling back to that old, Asian Eyes epic call out, right? When I had like the idiot camera. Except I wasn't gonna put idiot cam on Joseph, But maybe we gotta put. See, imagine a big like little sign here on top of this saying idiot cam. Okay.
I feel like everyone there was everyone who cared about TCG, right? Like my argument is
Everyone who was at the NAWCQ is everyone who cared about the TCG. I mean, yes. Everyone who was there at the EUWCQ was always there. We're always going to be there because they cared about the TCG. Like, same with the South American, the Central American, the OCG locals, the TCG. I just don't understand what the point here is.
Isn't that there are fewer attendees at YCSs. It's that the community is getting stratified in such a way that the people who want to go to events will, and it'll be the same 2,800 people at every event here on out.
So, I kind of see where he's going with this, and the idea that it's really interesting, okay? Because like, this is. I wish he elaborated on this because this is sort of a good point. He's not really explaining it well, but Yu-Gi-Oh is really unique in the sense that it feels like the game is made for the competitive players, whereas something like Pokemon is made for lots of different audiences. Casuals, collectors, etc., etc. Yu-Gi-Oh feels like it's really sort of made for competitive meta players in the way that it's kind of just fundamentally designed from a card game structure, from products and stuff like that. So I think I do agree with what he's saying. Like, just because the data says the YCS is agreeing doesn't necessarily mean the game at the local level feels lively and stuff like that. But ultimately, this isn't really something we can discuss, right? Like, what can we really say? The only thing we can say about this is vibes and feelings, because we don't have data, right? Unless, like, every OTS wants to, like, publish their attendance numbers and wants to spreadsheet all of this together. Like, there really isn't a way to analyze this. All we can really go by is event attendance, I suppose, right? Because this is the easily quantifiable stuff. So I get what he's saying, but, I mean, I just don't know what the alternative way to look at this would be. Other than, own personal vibes and feelings.
Not that there are going to be fewer people.
2025 so far, for example, has seen the second highest attendance of Yu-Gi-Oh! YCSs ever, only a couple hundred off of the absolute
That's not an argument then? Again, I think that this video is not super argumentative. I think it's like an observation.
peak attendance in Europe.
I wish it was just an observation, Joseph, because that's not how you framed it. Please refer to the start of my rant for further clarification.
Which
That argument makes no sense, dog. It makes no sense if you think what I'm trying to prove is that events are getting smaller. I'm saying
What you're trying to prove is Master Duel is killing TCG, right? So, what are you trying to say? Go on, tell us.
the Yu-Gi-Oh community is becoming less healthy insofar as I don't think there are as many people excited to go to locals. I don't think there are as many people hopping into the game, but the people who are already in it for the long haul, I think are going to stay in it for the most part. Like, I don't think you're going to see YCS attendance like drastically nosedive or anything. I don't think that's what the death of Yu-Gi-Oh looks like. I think it looks like 2,000 people, all of whose name you know, going to every event.
regularly pulls in.
I mean, I just, how do you engage with that, right? Like, we just don't know, ultimately, right? Like, it kind of just comes down to how you feel and what your personal experience is at locals, right? Some locals are thriving, some locals are genuinely, like, shutting down. That is true. But again, it goes back to the point of, what does this have to do with Master Duel? Right? Like, he could be right here. That's true. But my fundamental problem with his video isn't that he's wrong in that regard, potentially. It's just like, what does that have to do with Master Duel? Now, again, you could argue it's like, well, people just hop on over to Master Duel, but I disagree. I don't think people just hop on over to Master Duel. I think people who want to play TCG because they want to play TCG for all of the reasons that we talked about with the Ruggles stuff. There are, of course, some people who quit TCG to play Master Duel because it's more convenient, etc., etc. I'm not saying they don't exist, but I don't think it's like this horde of people that are mass emigrating to Master Duel. And there's one thing that, I don't want this reaction to be too long, but there is one thing that I wish I brought up in the video that I didn't bring up at all, or that I would like to emphasize now. There is a massive aspect of any sort of feeling as to why locals could feel dead and small right now, if it is happening to you personally. there have been big things that have happened in the last 3 years that we have not mentioned or talked about at all in any of our videos and reactions. The release of the Star Wars card game, the One Piece card game, and the Disney Lorcana card game. 3 massive IPs, very popular TCGs right now, that are, and have taken lots of big players and names from the community. World Champion, Disney Lorcana. Sponsored Yu-Gi-Oh! Was a sponsored Yu-Gi-Oh! Player. One Piece. World Championship finalist. Sponsored Yu-Gi-Oh! Player. I think even maybe like the World Champion used to be a I don't want to say anything there, but this is like, if anyone is leaving the TCG, it's not because of like Master Duel. It's either, if anything, Master Duel is preventing people from leaving because they are staying within the ecosystem of Yu-Gi-Oh! People who want TCG for all the reasons I've explained. One Piece can offer that at the local level. Lorcana can offer that at the local level. This is such a massive thing. If Yu-Gi-Oh! Is losing players to TCG, which one is most likely the cause? The online client that supplements the TCG in some capacity, or other card games? You guys all saw the Team APS video when he was talking about his sponsored attendance at the Bandai YCS, essentially, like Bandai card event or something. He said he spoke to countless One Piece players. Basically, all of them were like like Yu-Gi-Oh! Players. I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore. I've moved to One Piece. Very likely that a lot of there's any sort of exodus occurring in the TCGs because of other card games, you know? A lot of TCG players stopped playing TCG in favor of Master Duel. This is known. Not a lot. Not a lot, no. Some big names, because they're older now, and for a lot of the reasons that, for example, Raymond Dye mentioned in his Twitter thread. But ultimately, there isn't like some big, again, mass exodus to Master Duel from Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG. And if there is, I'd like to see some proof of that. And even if there is, how is that killing the TCG? Even if this is true, even if we assume all of this is true, why would that even be bad if the TCG is getting players who are quitting and moving to Master Duel? Because what's the alternative? The alternative is they quit TCGs altogether, play a different TCG, or move on with their life. At least now there's an alternative if you get sick of TCG. You still stay within the realm of Yu-Gi-Oh! And maybe if TCG gets better one day, you pivot back to TCG. It can happen, right? So, if anything, Master Duel is a bucket that is stopping the ship from sinking. Worst case scenario, if you want to look at it that way. 2,500 plus players. While 2024 did take a dip in attendance across both regions, the game has by and large been doing well and has been pulling in huge numbers for its events. And again, it's important not to invalidate anyone's personal experiences with these anecdotes. I myself have seen so many friends of mine quit the game and move on for greener pastures, and ultimately the real thread that connected us with Yu-Gi-Oh! We just don't see each other anymore. It fucking sucks. But I do think it is important to look at the overall here, especially when you're willing to
Yeah, I mean, so this, man, so as a result, this entire segment isn't super interactive with my video. I start by being like, this is a huge YCS, it's a huge WCQ. I just feel like these are all the people that are invested in the TCG. And then Farfa's like, it's a huge YCS, it's a huge WCQ.
present such a bold hypothesis as Master Duel is
Yeah, so why did you bring it up in your video?
actively detrimental to the
Like, you start a video with your point being Master Duel's killing TCG, and then mention that YCSs are huge. Doesn't that kind of counter-prove your point? Like, so why is it in your video? Like, that's what I don't get. Like, it feels like he's trying to argue against himself. That's why I think his video just isn't very good. Like, it's just, it's all over the place. It doesn't really have a point, I guess. And I guess he admitted himself. It doesn't have a point. It's an observation. But why didn't he frame it that way? I did something like this somewhat recently. Okay? My honest thoughts on Yu-Gi-Oh! What the fuck? This thing's almost at 100k views? It's just literally just shower thoughts that I just talked about my thoughts on TCG. Now, why didn't I frame this in some sort of way where it was trying to debate and argue something? Because there's nothing to argue. If he did something like this, this wouldn't be a thing. But it's like, that's what I just fundamentally disagree. Is like, his framing of everything he's talking about. I don't disagree, again, to reiterate, I don't disagree with his points. I don't really disagree with anything Joseph's saying. It's just the framing of those points via this lens of Master Duel being an, quote, active detriment to the TCG.
The TCG and is killing it. That is a very bold statement to make.
Yeah, but it doesn't even engage with the question of attendance.
This WCQ, the National Championship of North America, was the second biggest any WCQ of all time. In
That's in my video. What the fuck?
2023, there were 3,000.
This is a very good point. If there were 10,000 total TCG players and 2,200 go to a YCS, and now there are 5,000 TCG players but 2,800 go to a YCS, is the TCG dying? Very good point. Problem. How do you quantify how many TCG players there are? You're right. That's why I'm saying he could be right. I don't disagree with his point. This is such a good analysis of statistics. You are correct. But problem. Number one, how do you quantify this? Number two, even if you can quantify this, what does it have to do with Master Duel? You can't make that assumption that there's a link there. You know? Konami has those numbers, you back their database. Reggie, what the fuck do you want me to do? Hack into their, like, hard drives? What is it? Yeah, Konami has those numbers. I don't, though. So what do you want me to do? Like...
1,000 participants.
Shouts out to Vancouver. That 731 is because there's only 731 people allowed in Vancouver.
24 saw 2,600. Don't forget that you need an invite to even enter this tournament. An invite.
3,100 people are allowed in Vancouver. Okay, dude. The way to quantify is via locals attendance. Cool. Give me the data. Let's have a look. Does anyone have it? Because then we can reevaluate, you know?
Invite, which can only be obtained at the local and regional
can
level.
someone give Kevin a sub so I can ban him?
That's crazy too, because the segment he played, listen, he played one segment of my video so far. On pace with one of the biggest WCQ, huge. 2,800 showed up, each sporting an invitation hard won from a... The WCQ was huge. 2,800 people showed up, each sporting an invitation hard won from another huge tournament. That's me identifying that the qualifiers are huge too. What? Right?
2023, there were 3,000 participants. 24 saw 2,600. Don't forget that you need an invite to even enter this tournament. An invite which can only be obtained at the local and regional level across the entire continent. Meaning that people are actively playing the game in their droves. And you aren't the last...
In their droves. It would be in droves. You don't need there.
...bastion of...
You can tell he's getting frustrated because he's just... Like, is he out of arguments or something? Why is he correcting my spelling? Like, what? It's in droves, not in their droves. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. Like, okay, well, like, what's he gonna say next? I'm ugly, that's why I'm wrong? Go on, Joseph, call me ugly. Go, just drop a slur at this point. Okay, Kevin, I'm sorry, you're banned. Rules are rules.
Players at the event.
And I didn't even say we were the last bastion of players. You can't put...
I didn't say we were the last bastions of players.
Put it in quotes.
No potential.
Is he fucking serious? He literally... Okay, it wasn't word for word. I paraphrased. But what was his exact wording? It felt like we were the last people on Earth or something, right? I'm sorry. Is that like an... Is that a... I feel like it's a very generous paraphrase. What does he mean? He didn't say that.
Actually might have felt that way for other extrinsic reasons. The entirety of the NEWCQ livestream for this year, for example, is sitting at collectively over 500,000 views.
Okay, be honest. First off, 500,000 if you add them all together.
Yeah? Is addition illegal? Day 1, day 2, day 3. Is it what? Can we not add the views together?
And second off, the reason a lot of these views were so high is some asshole leaked a ban list. If you went...
Wait, that's not wrong, I guess. Like... I don't know if, like, you know, hundreds of thousands of views can be attributed to people reading a Reddit post, but, like, I mean, yeah, I guess that is kind of true. Like, a lot of people probably were watching because they were waiting for a list. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to get myself banned. I can't remember who. But yeah, someone may or may not have suggested there was going to be a ban list.
To any of these streams, you saw that all the comments were...
Look, listen, I'm getting tired at this point. Like, I feel like we're just going in circles. I could go back and look at, like, the last couple of events. If you care that much, just go to the YouTube views on Konami's live streams. And you will see, like, their YouTube views for events are popping, okay? To say that, in fact, it's astronomically high. I mean, sometimes they regularly hit, like, 10,000 concurrent viewers, which is insanely impressive. You know? Not exactly Pokemon levels, but that's, like, massive. Don't know why their Twitch numbers suck. Probably because Josh keeps eating them all, but, you know. YouTube views are insane. So to say there's plenty of TCG interest is the point here.
Ban list, ban list, ban list, where ban list, where ban list?
Entirety of the NEWCQ live stream for this year, for example, is sitting at collectively over 500,000 views. There is plenty of TCG interest and hype. There is another continent as well, by the way. WCQ and Europe.
He really wants it to be the case that the existence of EU invalidates my argument. Like, Farfa's #1 position
It will in the future,
is to be like, EU invalidates your argument regardless of what your argument is. It's his favorite thing to argue against.
Europe in 2024 was the big...
What is this? No, Kevin. I'm reacting.
biggest EU WCQ of
What was I saying? Yeah, no, ban list, EU, healthcare, etc. Yeah, you're wrong. Yeah.
all time. And that was the year of Fire. Maybe one of the worst
That's because Fire was a good format.
formats we've ever had, and still record-breaking numbers are being made.
This one.
The final nail in the coffin for Paper Play came earlier today. Epic Games, along
Can we, like... by the way, can we, again, just remember, okay? This video wasn't an observation. It was an observation. It wasn't an argument. What did he just say in his video?
That's because Fire was a good format.
Formats we've ever had, and still record-breaking numbers are being made.
This one.
the final nail in the coffin for Paper Play came earlier today. Epic
The final nail in the coffin came from Paper Play today. I understand hyperbole. I get that we're being a little bit exaggerative and sensationalist. It's just that when you piece all of this together, the title, the hypothesis, the statement at the very beginning, and then you say words like nail in the coffin of Paper Play, it very much implies you are stating the TCG is dying, all of which is juxtaposed to Master Duel as the centrifugal discussion of the video. Master Duel is what this is supposed to be, like, centered around.
Games, along with some other Yu-Gi-Oh! Distributors, revealed they had received guidance requiring them to phase out Time Wizard at the regional level to be replaced with Time Trial, an anachronistic format that basically amounts to a fucked up mix between the TCG and OCG ban lists at a specific point in time, with every card that's received an errata having that errata, and Master Rule 5.
This one's so fucked. I mean, I don't know how this is going to even happen. I'm excited to see what these tournaments will look like. I don't even know what the time travel ban list is.
Change was attempted once already and received such severe backlash.
The time travel ban list is the exact same. It's the exact same format. Card pool. It's just different rules, right? What does he mean ban list? Did I misunderstand what he meant? Like, it's the same cards. It's just, like, the cards are different, like erratas and stuff, but it's the same cards, no?
From the community that Konami was pressured into reversing, but that reversal was very specific and intentionally left the door open to do literally exactly this. Why are they changing?
Thicker Treat, thank you for the post here. This is a good distillation of what I'm trying to say here. The people already going to YCS level events are going to continue doing that. Casual players won't become YCS competitors because they're just going to play Master Duel instead. I agree.
Time Wizard.
Refer to the Ruggles part of this discussion. I disagree.
Grassroots development by the community that's brought thousands of lapsed Yugists back.
Hello?
Like, don't get me wrong, yeah, like, some TCG players will just go play Master Duel instead because of costs and convenience and sure, etc. like that.
Good.
But is that a detriment to the TCG? I feel like those people wouldn't have played anyway.
They're good.
Right? Like, if you can't afford to play TCG...
Okay, give me a sec. Julian has to tell me something.
Oh, perfect break then. If you weren't going to play the TCG, and if you weren't going to invest the money because of all of those reasons, then you weren't going to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyway. So, Master Duel at least gives you something. And then guess what? You play a little bit of Master Duel, you grind, you get some ranks, you feel that serotonin of ranking up and getting better at the game.
Back into the fold. Well, because
Maybe I'll try some paper. Boom. Master Duel just created a TCG player from a situation where that TCG player wouldn't have even begun to entertain the thought of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! This is like my biggest pet peeve about all of this whole thing. Why are we ignoring the possibility that Master Duel has created TCG players? You know? Not true, to be fair. A lot of people like Herman Ray would still be playing TCG without Master Duel. Yeah, I'm not saying that doesn't apply to some people. This is not a blanket black and white statement. There are positives and negatives. There are gray areas. Sure, there is crossover, no doubt. What I'm saying is I just don't think at the core level, that's like a genuine problem.
you can't play it in Master Duel.
For some reason, at some point, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community has just collectively decided that the reason that these Edison Time Wizard changes have been implemented is because of Master Duel.
This is a really weird discussion that I've had in private with Farfa as well. And I don't understand why he is so gung-ho on this obviously wrong position. It's really strange to me. His position on this is that changing the format at YCS's from Time Wizard to Time Trial has nothing to do with Master Duel.
Okay, just let him finish the point.
Which, like, can't possibly be the case.
Why not?
Why would they be using a ban list that can only be found in Master Duel?
Does he just have wrong information? Why does he keep saying that? They're not the same ban list. He must just be misspeaking. It's a different. He must be misspeaking because it's different. They use the same rules, right? No, he's right. No, they're not. OCG uses Master Duel uses OCG Edison and Go, etc. When you go to a real life event, they don't use the Master Duel ban list for those Time Wizard events. Yes, so we will be playing OCG Edison? What are you talking about? No, you what? Source? That's what he's saying? I know, what he's saying is wrong. Konami says it will follow the Master Duel time travel in the document. Not the ban list. Anyway, look, this is I don't know if this is true or not. The whole point of this is this idea that NA did this change because of Master Duel. Let's just focus on that. This is a different side point. I mean, there seems to be like half and half here, people being not sure about what's actually happening here. So let's just focus on the main point here, I guess.
Right? Even if the point is to create a level of consistency between Master Duel and Time Wizard, then Master Duel is driving those decisions.
But you're assuming they're trying to create consistency with Master Duel.
They never said they're using the Master Duel ban list. There's only one ban list called Time Travel. If you think it's a coincidence that Master Duel had an event called Time Travel and they're changing the associated retro format to Time Travel, but it could mean anything, then I don't know what to tell you.
I feel like I'm going insane, but I'm pretty sure time travel is just referencing the concept of the erratas and the rules, like modern rules but old ban list. Like it's not ban list as well. Like that, it's a different thing.
Master Duel Time Trials, the 3-day event that we had maybe like 3 times last year with respect to specifically Time Wizard formats, the one where you had to just win 3 games and you got 1 pack. This is the reason why Konami have decided to ruin classic Yu-Gi-Oh!
He's saying that like it's insane, and I agree it's insane. I think that means it's a bad decision, not that there is a secret other decision that's being made.
Can you like stop pausing? Like,
actually, what if time travel is something else entirely?
I'm not making this argument because I think it's a good
argument.
This is frankly nothing more than a massive reach and assumption. And
how is it a reach to be like the ban list from the Master Duel event Time Travel is going to be the ban list in the TCG event Time Travel? I don't get it.
Quite frankly, a huge scapegoat. Again, to reiterate,
I feel like we need to like figure out and understand what's actually going to happen. But as far as I'm concerned, Konami is not changing the ban list for time travel format going forward. They're changing the rules.
Right. There is another continent on the planet. Konami.
What does this have to do with anything?
Maybe if you stop pausing, what does this have to do with anything? The whole point of bringing up the EU, like, does he just hate EU? Does he hate Europe? Is that what it is? Is he just upset about, I was gonna make a really bad historical joke there. Like, what do you mean, what does this have to do with anything? Because EU is not doing this. Why is there a split in this decision? Clearly, it's not a unified perspective on this thing.
It's very strange. He's like, well, EU doesn't have to abide this.
Stop pausing, he screams as he pauses. Yes, because he is pausing before I've made my point.
It's like, yeah, that is kind of insane. I don't know why that is, but that doesn't mean that it's not the result of Master Duel.
EU made a public statement saying that Time Wizard events at the EU WCQ will indeed be with the old card text and the old game rules. No, I don't. And all it says is we will keep an eye on this in the future. This whole Edison drama for now is very specifically...
To be clear, the reason that EU is permitted to do this is because they don't have YCSs. I'm kidding!
You don't have healthcare!
a Konami North America issue. Why is Europe not implementing these changes? Now,
I mean, that's a good question. But that doesn't mean it's not a result of Master Duel. Like, that.
But does it, but you could just like go back and do the opposite and say, well, that doesn't mean it doesn't mean it's that. Like, this is the point I'm making if you would watch the video. All of this is speculation. All I'm saying is that I think the idea that they're copying Master Duel format is a weaker argument than the logistics of running running time travel at a YCS.
That's a whole separate discussion. Why is EU being allowed to act with impunity here? I don't know why that is. Even if it wasn't Master Duel, even if the reason they were changing it to time travel was because, you know, they received evidence from the future using tachyon technology that the continued existence of Edison would destroy Yu-Gi-Oh! And they had to change it. Why does EU get to ignore that? Why is EU permitted to act in this way at all?
I'm sorry, but can't you just say the exact opposite, but for NA? Like, he's saying, why does EU get to do this? Why do they act with impunity? You could literally say that about NA. Why does NA get to do this? Why does NA act with impunity? Because, as far as I'm concerned, Latin America, Time Wizard events, at their YCS and stuff, don't do this. EU doesn't do this. And OCG, from what I understand, I don't know, I'm pretty sure they don't have official Time Wizard events, but on a cultural sort of common etiquette level, when OCG players play retro format, they don't change the card rules. They don't change the priority system and all that kind of stuff. The only region that does this is NA. So why is everyone else acting with impunity but not NA? I just don't... It's really weird this is turning into an EU-NA thing. I'm so confused at this point here.
Perspective of the relationship with Master Duel. I don't know.
Now, just to be very clear, I cannot definitively say to you and prove to you that this so-called TCG to Master Duel pipeline for why Master Duel is changing Time Wizard format and TCG is an incorrect and wrong hypothesis. I can't prove that to you. There is...
Okay, I mean, I guess the easy way for this one is wait and see. If time travel becomes analogous to the Master Duel format, or something happens in Master Duel to make time travel more ubiquitous, then yeah, I guess I would be right and you would be wrong. We'll have to wait and see.
There's a chance that this
It's just funny, the framing. It's always just like, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see when I'm right.
could be true. In my opinion, I think it's far-fetched. So let me give you my personal opinion and view as to why this change occurred in, again, to reiterate, very specifically, North America and not the whole Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG region. Little Timmy goes to enter a side event at a YCS having heard all of the hubbub and hype around Edison, the golden age of Yu-Gi-Oh! And all you had was Call of Duty Modern Warfare, double XP weekends, pizza, free time, and 5Ds. Bird, this is the greatest format ever. They sit down to duel against a 32-year-old balding millennial who's probably still...
One brain cell. One brain cell. Please, someone clip that. Please, someone clip that.
Playing the same deck he was 10 years ago in Modern, and isn't interested in these meta sheeps, and proceeds to scold Little Timmy for not understanding priority, for not realizing that Raikou targets, and that the future fusion he drops on Little Timmy does indeed mill immediately, despite...
Please finish the point.
I just don't think this guy is real.
Finish the point.
I hear this all the time from, like, the people trying to defend this change. I just don't think this guy is real.
I'm not disagreeing. That's the point. I'm not making a good argument. I just think it's a better point than they're trying to copy Master Duel. That's it.
Real. That there is a guy that goes to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Event with full working knowledge of the advanced rulebook, but cannot conceptualize that a Time Wizard event that explicitly says using the rulings and errata from the era will not play a little differently. They always
agree.
bring up ignition effect priority.
They
You
should
know
know,
we
yeah.
still have quick effect priority, right? How hard is it going to be for this character to grasp that you used to be able to also maintain priority for ignition effects, right? I just don't understand. I can't imagine there's people like this.
Despite the fact
Has he talked to a judge? Just please, MBT, do me a favor. Talk to a judge. Talk to a judge who is responsible for judging Edison tables for like a whole day. See what they say.
Timmy's TCG Cyber Dragon deck, which runs Future Fusion, doesn't work that way, even though the card says so.
Yeah, I mean, this is also true.
Please, just let me finish the point. Oh my god. He's arguing against an argument I don't agree with. It's so frustrating.
true for cards that exist in advanced, right? There are advanced format cards that receive erratas. Like, if this person existed, they would have trouble tying their shoes in the morning. But they'd also have trouble playing main event.
Dog, have you seen the people who play side events?
Barrel just came out.
Constant judge calls, the elitism of the older Edison players, the arguments every single event about how a card interacts or doesn't interact, without any real way to prove it except he said, she said.
Okay, to be clear, this is something that Konami could resolve overnight by having a rulings document for Edison.
Agreed.
To be clear again,
It's literally already been made. They just have to copy-paste it from edison.com.
the elitism from Edison players, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what Edison events Farfa is playing. I have never experienced an Edison player being like, you freaking noob. You don't know what ignition effect priority is, you stupid asshole.
I guess if I've never experienced it, it doesn't exist, right?
I don't know. More than anything, every Time Wizard event I've played, everyone involved has known the rules a lot better than every advanced format event I've played, because they have to. They come with a working knowledge of the rule set because they've come to play Time Wizard, and as a result, have learned what the idiosyncrasies of it are.
I agree. Yes, it should be the case. That should be the case. But talk to any judge.
Every Edison player I've played against at events has been friendly and excited to talk about the format in their deck. I've never had any interaction other than that with an Edison player.
The same with the main event. Majority of your interactions are going to be positive. If you're cordial, if you're polite, and if you give some small talk, you're going to receive the same from your opponent. But there are people who aren't like that. Anyway, this isn't even the whole point. Like, why are we debating this? Like, I'm not giving a good argument. That's my point here.
I don't know. It's so strange. I don't know if things are different in the other continent, but I can't describe it to you
Yeah, it's 500 euros per year for a university degree.
better than this. The vibes at every advanced format event I've been to in the past year have been fine. They range from rancid to okay. Every single retro event I've been to in the past year, the vibes have been immaculate. Everyone has been having fun the entire time. I don't know what it is. And not just shitters. We were at top tables for a lot of that Vegas 3v3, and people were fucking jamming.
Because there is no official unified source on these rules. Konami NA decided that enough was enough. Let's just use the most modern rules in card text and stick with that and keep the consistency. So that
See, if that's all time travel was,
This is infuriating. He's paused like 4 times here and isn't getting to the point. Like, the argument's being made and then he's oh my god, he's just squeezing my balls. Like, stop blue balling. Just get to the point. Like, wait until the point is made, man. Like, he's stopped and paused 3 times to argue this one point and hasn't let me finish my point.
that would be one thing. But we also don't know what the ban list is, right? We don't have the ban list for Time Travel 2010. I don't know. I just don't think that this is a person that exists and is worth catering to.
basically our judges don't have
I
to suffer
agree.
harassment at every event. This
And also, dog.
Bro, that's like the 5th pause here, man.
I'm not trying to victim blame judges. Dumb fucks are going to be mean to judges at every event, regardless of what they are judging. How many advanced format dumbass judge calls have you ever had to deal with?
Right, so it does happen.
If I had to put the blame on anyone in terms of judges getting shit on, it would be Konami for refusing to equip them with the tools necessary to resolve necessary questions like, how does Raiko resolve?
Absolutely correct.
in my personal
You are
opinion, is a
right.
more logical explanation and theory as to why this change is unfolding in NA. I'm not saying I like this. I'm not saying I agree with this, by the way, just to
Sure,
be clear.
yeah.
This theory, for me personally,
Sure, yup. That's all you're gonna give me? A sure, yup? That's it. That's all he's gonna be. Finally, he got to the point where I said, I'm not saying this is a good point. That's it. That's all I get. A sure, yup.
makes more sense as to why Master Duel is changing over trying to emulate a format that happens 9 days in a calendar year. Both of
I would just say the names are the same. We will see if this was done to alleviate pressure on judging staff or to conform to a change in Master Duel in, I guess, the next couple of months.
these are just theories. You can decide for yourself which one makes the most sense to you, because Konami doesn't talk to us and communicate this stuff when they should.
Yep.
This is a point that I will concede. Master Duel is killing the TCG YouTube content. Perhaps
Okay, well, so that one's done then.
a better way to all of them. So natural
Good.
game
Base, fine.
world-
Yes. Okay, there
world
isn't
of
really
false
much to say on
equivalence
this
and is
one.
comparing casual Master Duel content with performed competitive volume that get. Of course, there isn't compared to, at least in terms of the numbers.
Okay, wait, I guess I should probably watch this one.
Oh,
Concede. Master Duel is killing TCG content on YouTube, whether that be competitive content, solo, group, all forms of Master Duel videos just tend to do better than the TCG. Well, that's just because Master Duel is a superior, better game, right?
true.
Yeah, kinda.
It's not that simple. This is kind of a chicken before the egg kind of paradox here. When Master Duel was released in 2022, naturally, every
enough,
content creator
right?
on the platform was going to pivot towards and embrace Master Duel. With an influx of tens of thousands of new viewers, both short and long-term subscribers, all of the big household name content creators you've come to know and love focus their energy on Master Duel. And why wouldn't we naturally, after finally the company blessed us with this big new toy that we had been begging for years, an online client? And so after over 3 years of embracing that newly obtained Master Duel audience, slowly transforming them into a Master Duel viewer base, it has cultivated,
believe that
you guessed
card
it,
was
Master
legal.
Duel viewers who want to watch Master Duel.
I don't think that's true.
Why? Go on.
I think that most viewers just want to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Period, and that no simulator comes close to Master Duel. I think it's really as simple as it looks so nice.
So naturally, when someone like Sam does decide to do a one-off TCG video, it's not going to do as well numerically. That isn't because
But it's about demand, right? Like, if you want to make TCG content, you can use MD Pro. They both look good. It's not the same. It's different. It's got higher frame rate, I guess, so it's a little bit jarring, but, like, I mean, I feel like to the average casual, it's going to be pretty like for like. I don't know.
because TCG is a worse game than Master Duel.
I mean,
Or that
at
Master Duel
least
is
it's not
stealing
Dueling Book.
TCG viewers. It's
Again, yeah, that's it, right? Like, there is a good product, and then there is a poorly managed product. Of course, the good product is going to bring in more viewers, and of course, the good product is going to bring in more players. You think it's unbelievable that some of the people who are enjoying the inferior product might look over at greener pastures and go, why not?
just that
This is like a big assumption, though. Like, when you refer to the inferior product here, I guess you're talking about, like, Dueling Book and Edo Pro, but, like, good TCG content is something like Ruggles, right? Like, IRL, you know, good camera quality recordings of TCG content. The problem is, like, there just isn't enough of that. And I don't think there isn't enough of the TCG content because of, like, player population or that Master Duel is so much better or popular. It's because of logistics. It's 9,000 times more easier to just hop on Master Duel, make a video together, than it is to make a good quality TCG vlog, right? Like, so of course, like, naturally, numerically, there's going to be more of a certain kind of content, so naturally it just performs better, right? Like,
this is a self-fulfilling prophecy that we as content creators have pigeonholed ourselves into. And for some reason, we've just ignored Jesse. You know, Jesse Cotton, the reigning world champion with almost 100,000 subscribers. And yes, while Jesse primarily does Master Duel content,
I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. Is he citing Jesse as a reason that TCG does still pull in views? Let's go to Jesse, actually. You're right. He's one of the best TCG players in the history of time, if not the best. Let's just see what he's uploaded on his channel. World champion, by the way.
the only reason I brought up Jesse is because I guess I was a little bit salty about it, but his exact quote in his video was something along the lines of, there is exactly one content creator who is pulling in numbers for TCG and Master Duel, and it's Josh. And half his videos are Master Duel. He said something like that. And it was like, well, Jesse makes TCG videos as well. And it's kind of different because it feels like a really, really niche case. These are the world champions, like, who actively participate in both games. That's a very unique position to be in. So I think, like, analyzing their content and then trying to extrapolate a conclusion from that, I think, is a little bit fallacious. But I don't know.
Hoping the pendulum swings my way at the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Casino. This video where he says the TCG is dying. The fate of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta is in my hands. Oh, it's an Arcana Force Master Duel replay video. We need to talk about Malice, a Master Duel Malice replay video. Best decks right now for the Yu-Gi-Oh! WCQ. Okay, that is TCG. Dominating the Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta with Witchcrafter. That's a Master Duel video. I brought the Wonky Quartet to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Casino. Master Duel video. Let's make Red Eyes meta. Master Duel video. King of Wheels to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Casino. Master Duel video. Red Dragon Archfiend Master Duel video. Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Casino. Master Duel video. Yu-Gi-Oh's banning what card? Yu-Gi-Oh's Champions Circuit. Okay. So this one surely is about the TCG, right? Nope, it's a fucking Master Duel video.
I mean, it's ebbs and flows. Jesse's gone through periods where he's uploaded a lot of TCG videos. Yeah, maybe in the last couple of months, like he's done Master Duel, but there have been periods where he's done lots of TCG content. Same with Josh, right? Like I'm sure if you go to like Josh's channel, it's basically like about the same kind of split. Like what do we have here? How to side deck. Oh, that's not a Master Duel video. Roll, I mean, kind of both, right? Best decks post Duelist Advance, TCG. Playing the new deck in Master Duel, right? 42k views, 52k views. His TCG video does better. Like, there is demand and interest for TCG, right? How can we fix current Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG format? TCG. TCG. Qualify for Worlds. TCG. Master Duel tier list. TCG deck profile. Like, if we want to use Josh as the example, who does an equal portion of both, his TCG videos have equal bearing in terms of their representation. See, Josh has way more. Yeah, sure, but again, like the point here is that when Jesse is putting effort into producing more TCG content, he gets about the same kind of numbers as his Master Duel videos. In Josh's case, weirdly enough, his TCG stuff gets more than Jesse has one a month. Jesse's only been creating content for a month. You're right.
Flipping the Yu-Gi-Oh!
Anyway, this is like such a minor point, right? Like, how does this relate to Master Duel killing TCG, right? Like, it's one content creator. I already like gave him this point. I literally gave him this point. I said, like, yeah, you're right. Master Duel content is more prominent. That, like, I admitted that. So why are we going in circles with this?
Meta on its head, it's a Master Duel video. Brazing the states of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Casino, it's a Master Duel video.
Like, that's the whole point. I went into this reaction with. I explicitly said, I am able to concede points. I agree with a lot of his points, etc., you know? Again, the main issue is how does any of it relate to Master Duel? And I don't think a lot of his points relate to Master Duel.
I challenged him to seal only Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a Master Duel video. Let's make Dark Magician mad. It's a Master Duel video. So of his last 20 videos, he's got 2 about the TCG, and 1 is about how fucking bad it is. Like, what, right?
Content, there is plenty of TCG content on his channel that, numbers-wise, does fine. Overall, I think his...
There's plenty of TCG content that does fine. He's talking exclusively about this tier list video. This is the only TCG content he's released before the content nuke. He's talking about this one video.
Content creation section is
even
drawing
like the
too
main
much of a
point
false
here, man.
equivalence and is comparing casual Master Duel.
Like, the entire main point of this is that TCG content, given an equal amount of effort as someone uploading Master Duel, get around the same view. That's it. That was like the only real point I was making.
Content with
Like, I don't know why we're like fixating on that so much.
competitive TCG content, this is not a like-for-like comparison.
I want to be real clear here. A lot of people, and I think as a result of the conversation that happened with Hexlex, think what I'm saying here is competitive TCG content is down. I want to be clear. I think all TCG content is down.
Historically, casual content has
I just showed
always
you the numbers
outperformed
on
competitive
Josh's channel,
content,
right?
Even
His
pre-Master
TCG
Duel.
videos
Are we
do
forgetting just
better.
how big Cyber Knight, Simply Unlucky, and Asianized?
Why does Sam's TCG videos do poorly by comparison? Great question. Because Sam's TCG videos usually are competitively oriented when he makes for fun casual series for Master Duel. Casual content always trumps TCG, always trumps competitive content. So competitive content in a channel that does almost primarily Master Duel content will always do better. That's just logical, right? If Sam was to put in the same time and effort and make TCG for fun content, his TCG for fun content would probably get Master Duel views. If Sam sat down for Duel Night and did it with Syriax and Rhymestyle or Nesh and Pack and everyone he collabs with usually, they'd probably get about the same numbers as the Syriax collabs, right? That's the point I'm making here, is that it's not like for like.
Where back in the day?
Like Sam
This
doing
is a second
like, I'm
conversation.
sorry, but like you can't compare a massive content creator like Syriax collabing with Sam in a for fun casual series and then say like, why did this video do better than a box opening? That is not a charitable comparison. I'm sorry.
I don't really want to get into. I think that Hexlex does a better explainer. I would just say I disagree with parts of this. There were periods in early Yu-Gi-Oh's history where people were like, the only way to grow is to Robbie Cole style upload deck lists from events. It was responsible for John Moore's historic pop-off. I will see that, like, there has always been casual content, but it hasn't always been outperformed competitive content. Again, that's not a really reasonable comparison because like a lot of the Master Duel content you see is competitive and a lot is casual. We're talking about a Master Duel TCG divide, not a competitive casual one.
We used to have vines, sealed only, box openings, all of which dwarfed the competitive dueling book
There's
replays
nothing
in
to
Farfa.
engage
Like,
with there,
is
right? Like, I
sealed
just
only
disagree.
casual content? Like, the goal of sealed only was to get an invite to Nats, right? It was about deck building with a limited card pool. Is that casual content? I don't know.
Today, we still have
Yeah.
skits that get millions of views and structured deck
Pack
duels that can
opening
crack
series.
Okay, don't show
where you
shorts.
enter
We all know
locals,
what's going
that's
on
pretty
with
casual.
shorts.
6 digits. That's always been the nature of casual versus competitive. Of course, there isn't as much of it
Like,
around
slowly
as there used
building
to be,
up to being
but making that
competitive,
type
but
of
it was
high-level
pretty
content for TCG is a big demand on cost and logistics.
Like, to be clear, Gage's follow-up series to sealed only Yu-Gi-Oh was the one where he goes to 4 different locals with a meta deck and sees how he does. All right. In that video, he's playing a meta deck, talking about the choices he made in this meta deck, showing videos of him playing the meta deck. Is that a casual video? Surely not. But stylistically, it is 100% the same as sealed only Yu-Gi-Oh. So, you know, where do we draw the distinction?
Compared to Master Duel. I'm not going to sit here and try and debate this. There is absolutely a hole and a niche to be
Yeah, we're
filled
going
for the
circles with
TCG
this.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
We've already
content
conceded
space,
this
at
point.
least in
Like,
terms
yeah,
of the numbers that
content
perhaps the
creation
wonky
is-
quartet gets.
The
We're
whole
just
reason
waiting for the next...
that we even address the content creation point here is to just agree, but also highlight some key factors, which is the casual versus competitive aspect, and the idea that there is still a divide between competitive casual content. That's it. That was the only real observation to be made here.
Table 500, the next saga, Master Chef, Storage Wars, whatever it might be, TCG kind of needs its own thing. And I hope that someone fulfills that niche for you. The problem is that the current household names in Yu-Gi tubing aren't embracing TCG content and aren't tapping into it. And again,
That's because it performs poorly.
it's not enough to just make a one.
That's because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you don't work at making TCG content, it's not going to do well, right? How long has he been honing 10-minute testing for and iterating upon it for? 10 years or something? How long has he been making 10-minute testings for? It's his flagship series. It does worse than MasterChef. Like, do you know what I mean? A series that was started like a couple months ago. So, yeah, that's the point. It's like you got to work at it. Well, you've worked at it and still upload it because it does worse? It didn't do that badly, to be fair. My locals vlogs were like, okay. But it's just, again, it all comes down to logistics for me. Time, effort, doing a TCG video, so much more involved than Master Duel. That's all it is. It's just logistics.
Of TCG video. It's about consistency.
But if someone is
The
willing
only
to go through
person
that,
who's putting
I
out
think
consistent
numbers will be
TCG
there.
content that gets any sort of reasonable views is me. I don't want to like jack my own dick off here, but 10-minute testings are the only consistently performing TCG videos. I don't even know if I describe them as competitive, you know, but they are TCG videos.
So isn't that the point? Like, right? Exactly. So you are making TCG content that does well. So there's a demand for it. No?
To be clear, even if these trends continue, I don't think this is the end of TCG. A worst case scenario for me results in the TCG operating with the same legitimacy as Duel Links. A profitable enterprise just lucrative enough to sustain itself, but one which is also wholly ignored by the wider player base. Cottage industry for Metafy Andes.
Cottage cheese.
I believe that.
So, who cares? If the worst
Did he just watch a clip of himself and say, I agree? Yeah, dog, I bet you do. Like, what?
comes to pass and paper events and products become totally infrequent, but digital's thriving, then what's the harm? After all, it's still Yu-Gi-Oh!
Is the billion-dollar company doing okay? Please
This one's weird. I think he really wants me to be making a different point here.
Don't be mean.
No, Joseph, you already made that point yourself. Oh shit, I closed the tab. Title card of him saying Macedo's killing TCG.
To the multi-million shareholders, MBT. Let's take a look at some numbers. On the Konami Group Corporation website,
Like, he's like, I'm saying that maybe Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't doing good or something. I don't understand where he's going with this one.
you can find the earnings releases of
context of it
Konami,
is
which
that
are
we're about to
publicly
talk about
available for all
product,
of their
no?
streams of revenue, from pachinko machines, even gyms and fitness centers, to, of course, digital systems. Now, I know it sounds weird, but just to clarify, digital systems does include the physical card game. I don't know why, but that is just the category that TCG, OCG, and Master Duel all come under. Taking a look at the pre-Master Duel numbers, we can see that Konami's operating profits in the fiscal year ending 2019 was 50 billion yen, down to 31 billion yen in the year ending 2020. Did something happen that year? Just for a completely random fun fact side note here, I think it's really interesting for some of you to see just how big Yu-Gi-Oh! Is in Japan specifically. 200 billion yen in
Sorry. So what I said is a worst case scenario for TCG is that it exists as a self-sustaining product that the player base largely ignores, while the titan that is Master Duel continues to grow, a la Duel Links. And Farfa's response to that is, in the year ending 2020, Konami made X billion yen.
Yes. Get to the end of the segment. There's more to come. There's words that are occurring after this. Like,
I'm like totally lost. Like, what the fuck?
if you stop reading a card mid-sentence, you will be lost. That is true.
Revenue for just Japan compared to the
He does 2025 too. I don't care what year he does. What does this have to do with the argument?
EU and US numbers. Now, of course, be careful here because profit and revenue are not the same thing. But for some reason, the continents are subdivided under revenue and they don't give us the real numbers and split.
Sorry, how does this...
That's because you're not listening, Joseph. How does this relate, is what he was about to say. How does this have anything to do with anything? If you listened and actually paid attention, I specifically said this exact point was a fun fact. This is a tangent I'm going on. I deliberately am just giving you a fun fact as the viewer, because why not? It's cool to see this, all right? Here's a little thing I found interesting. There's nothing, like, why are we getting uppity about a fun fact? What does this have to do with it? I'm just giving a fun fact here. I'm like, what?
How does this even interact with the discussion of Master Duel and the TCG?
It doesn't.
Because he said their digital earnings include the paper card game. So there's no information in this section that enables you to draw any conclusions about the health of the paper card game versus the digital product.
There isn't a way to draw any conclusions between them because all of these things are put under the same umbrella of operating profits for digital systems. That includes Master Duel, that includes TCG, OCG. Heck, I'm pretty sure it includes like Silent Hill and Metal Gear, for all we know. It's relevant because despite the fact that you can't subdivide this and see which one is doing well, which one is like outperforming, it's important because when you see a 13-fold profit over the course of this timeline, it's something. Because there's no data. We don't, like, Konami doesn't tell us how TCG is doing, how sales are doing. We can only really go by something like this. It's not great data. It's not great stats. But when you see a 13-fold increase in profits for Konami, when you look at event attendance, when you look at Steam charts activity, etc., etc., when you see all of this together collectively, it kind of maybe gives you an idea of what is going on. Events are up. Master Duel booms at a certain time period when there's a new pack, etc. The whole point is just to show that my opinion is, again, we don't know because we can't get the exact figures on it, is that all of this interconnects with one another. Master Duel does well, TCG does well. If TCG does well, it feeds into Master Duel. I think there's crossover. I think there's a decent amount of people who do both, and if you play one, maybe you'll show some interest in the other and vice versa. That was the only point I was trying to make here. I don't know why we're getting so hung up on it.
Why are we doing this?
For profits by region. Now,
Because I
compare
hate
that to
you.
2025,
That's why.
which
'Cause you
just
stink.
ended. Remember, financial year ends in April, not December.
The argument is TCG is going to be TCG is not going to be important, but Konami will do well. And he is saying Konami is doing well. Okay?
The operating profits total for
I think they both connect to each other. That's my main point here.
digital systems is just under 110 billion yen. That's about $670 million raw profit. That is like a 13-fold increase since 2019. So while
Well, I mean, if anything, this just shows that I'm right about the success of Master Duel. A 13-fold increase since 2019. 2019, they had Duel Links in the TCG. You introduce Master Duel to the equation, they're making 13 times more money. Shit, we may already be there.
While much of this is probably attributable to Master Duel specifically, for me personally, I see this as a greater interconnected ecosystem of Yu-Gi-Oh! I think the TCG absolutely contributes to these numbers. Are we just not going to entertain the
cross-duel
possible
numbers.
Oh my god, I don't... This has nothing to do with the video. This has nothing to do with the video. I don't know why this section is in here.
I'm not going to repeat
Nowhere
myself.
in the video am I saying Yu-Gi-Oh! Is dying or that Konami is doing poorly.
Huh? You literally... Yes, you did. You said TCG is Master Duel's success is actively detrimentally affecting. You did say that? Like you did? Like what? Like
Holy moly.
possibility that some new
This is
TCG
why I'm
players are
bringing
here
this up.
because of Master Duel?
Isn't that the title? Yeah.
If you haven't been paying attention to the price of product recently, it's not good. Individual cards can command triple digits of money for a playset, but the most recently released core set is rotting on the shelves for cost. Not MSRP, cost. Opening packs is quickly becoming a thing of the past. Why chase product?
Yu-Gi-Oh! And TCG are not the same thing? Exactly. Exactly. But I think, like, when the whole point of why I was bringing this point up is because of the monetary associations you can derive from both things doing well. Master Duel going up, TCG event attendance going up, all of this interconnects. I think logically you can assume if numbers are up, then that means, you know, operating profits must have had something to do with that. Everything is going along relatively fine. That's
to open if you're just occasionally going to show up to locals with a pet deck. The tack-on effects for OTSs are dire. They can't...
There is no real way to look at... What do you mean there's a lot of assumptions? There's numbers there. Event attendance. Earnings reports. Like, what else can you really look at here? YouTube views. Like, what do you mean?
Sustain a business with products rotting on the shelves.
This is such a good point. You made the argument pre-Master Duel was 13 times as small. That is not an argument for TCG. Okay, so... I'm not going to spend time arguing with chat here. Yeah, so, again, lots of things feed into that. Are you suggesting... When a new game comes out, it doesn't mean that... when a new video game comes out, there's going to be a boom, for sure. And then year on year, those things start to taper, those things start to plateau a little bit. And again, I will repeat, a lot of those Master Duel players probably went to TCG. The whole point of this entire thing is TCG's killing Master Duel. Right? So, sorry, Master Duel's killing TCG. If numbers are up across the board, then one can only assume they're both doing okay. That's it. That's all. That's the only point. Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG product this year has been absolute garbage. It's not fun to open. It's uninteresting. There's nothing worth pulling. You can't draft it. And stores have been absolutely struggling to. You want to say it's a bad assumption? It's a bad assumption to make in the opposite direction as well.
Special.
Which in the long term, with enough bad sets, there's no reason to stock Yu-Gi-Oh! And then the game dies. So my question here is, what does that have to do with Master Duel? TCG having poorly performing product is the fault of the TCG.
What does it have to do with Master Duel? Master Duel exists. Because unlike previous eras of Yu-Gi-Oh!, if the product sucks and people don't want to buy it, they have an option. They've never had an option before.
And this is really what I see. Right. So that's the point. Master Duel is keeping people around for Yu-Gi-Oh! Whereas otherwise before, you either would have quit, or you would have just... I don't know, what else do you do? Like, begrudgingly keep, like, staying in the game? Potentially, yeah, I suppose. But at least now... you still stay within Yu-Gi-Oh! And there hasn't been 3 major IPs and other TCGs that have very verifiably and demonstrably been taking away players. It's not a Master Duel taking away players thing. As such a poor scapegoat. Konami is the one who refuses to make sets draftable, create new and exciting rarities,
The video is about how Konami's consistent failures with respect to the TCG are enabling would-be TCG players to play Master Duel, the superior product, instead.
I agree. I agree. So, again, going back to the very start of this reaction, why did we make the hypothesis that Master Duel's continued success is an active detriment on the TCG?
I don't...
Release more all arts, or full... Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, all of these problems existed before Master Duel. If TCG product sucks, it's not Master Duel's fault, right? That's my point. Or making new and an interesting promo card, or a million other reasons the community has given to why TCG product could potentially be interesting to open, and how we're just agreeing with each other here.
Your House of Champs, and from
again,
what I recall,
the conclusion that he's
House of Champs is in this video?
Or what I agree with.
This is insane because House of Champs is like fully on board with end of TCG discussions. If you've gone to his Twitter this entire week, it's literally just him saying the TCG's dying.
But not because of Master Duel. That's my point.
Expert when it comes to product, correct?
I would say so. Over 20 years experience.
Also just stealing my bit where I make a shitty video essay and then interview House of Champs.
You're right about the shitty video essay part. Stealing his bit. MBT invented talking to someone.
played since LOB opened my first ones at Borders, and I've been through pretty much all of it.
So very simply, what is it that makes a product do well, especially over the context of like the last 3 to 4 years? Like, how does a product sell well, and how is it good for a local game store?
So a product has to basically encompass the 3 major groups of Yu-Gi-Oh players. It's the casual, the competitive, and the collector. It's kind of funny you say specifically the last 4 years, because we lost a lot of our collectors the moment they started rewaving a lot of these special Starlight rares in.
I hate listening to House talk about this stuff because, like, just like fuck up after fuck up after fuck up.
Quarter-century secret rare. You might say, oh, well, they're just crying about. No, like, you imported Trishula as a special Starlight rare into a set, specifically put it in a set where it doesn't exist to make the set better. And then they make a super easy access Trishula later that looks very, very comparable, and some people even think looks better.
I really like the rarity collections. It was kind of fucked of them to do Starlight 2. Just invent a second Starlight.
For much cheaper.
Starlight
and so
2.
that kind of thing really drove away a ton of the collectors.
And do you think there's any connection between the performance of sets in Master Duel, or does it really all just boil down to competitive viability, staples, collector stuff?
Stuff like the Exodia stuff that's actually being teched into competitive decks now with Senjinjin and the Temple.
I mean,
and
they didn't. I don't know what to tell you, Scarlon. If you think they don't look
Farfa
similar,
has
that's
the
your
best
prerogative.
hairline, by the way.
It had a measurable impact.
I'll take that
on the
from an
price
MBT
of
chatter.
Starlights. That's, I don't know. Enough people think that you're full of shit.
Stuff. It gets bought out by Master Duel players, unironically. Like that recent cup that had the Exodia stuff going on, right after that cup, it all moved on our market. So there is an actual transition from Master Duel gameplay in the casual market into our TCG market at times. But I wouldn't say that Master Duel, on average, is moving too many needles into our market. It's very rare.
What was the point of that interview?
To show that TCG and Master Duel are independent when it comes to product. Which goes back to the point of why is product a discussion in your video about Master Duel killing the TCG? There you go. Boom.
What the fuck? I was like, product's bad. He was like, you're right, product's bad. Let me get House of Champs on here. House of Champs goes, product's bad.
Product's
What
bad.
the fuck? What's the point of that? What's the point of that section? What the fuck? Am I crazy? Is product bad? Let me think about it.
Is product bad?
Over the last few years, I have felt what I can only really describe
Product
as
bad.
resentment, perhaps even jealousy by, I suppose, what I like to call TCG supremacists.
Yo, any
This
TCG
is
friends in
so
the chat?
crazy. All right. This is a total Master Duel insecurity thing.
See, it's funny because Master Duel supremacists would say the same thing, right? They would say that it's TCG insecurity. You know what I mean? Like there's there is this weird, like, almost dogmatic divide that the community has created. I'm not part of this, by the way. I want both games to do well. I would love to play some TCG, provided that, you know, some things change. But the point is like, there is, like, this animosity almost between, like, people who laugh at people for playing Master Duel or TCG or vice versa. You know what I mean?
Believing that there's a cabal of people that are like, Master Duel isn't real Yu-Gi-Oh! I think there are those
There's no way Joseph is talking about a cabal right now.
people. I think they exist. But that they represent anything other than a minority of a minority of a minority is insane.
Okay, Master Duel
Peeps does it every
supremacist, you want to
stream.
leave your
Peeps
house?
is a loud,
That's nothing to do with
outspoken,
Master Duel.
consistently wrong asshole. What do you want me to say?
Taking every opportunity possible to bash and blame Master Duel for whatever goes wrong. These problems and issues that
Again, to be clear, my argument here isn't that Master Duel is evil or anything. It's that Master Duel is an option for players who previously did not have one.
Why didn't he say that then? Why didn't he begin his video with that as the introduction instead of, I quote, as I ruminate upon this, Master Duel's continued success is coming at the active cost and detriment of the TCG. Master Duel is destroying the TCG, verbatim, quote, quote. Why did he say that? Because it gets clicks? No, because you've already clicked on the video at that point. It's in the intro of the video. The very beginning of the title of the chapter is Master Duel's killing TCG. You've already got someone to click the video. What more do... Like, I'm sorry. If it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and walks like a duck, it's a fucking... dumb fucking MBT looking at... Like, oh my... I was going to say something really bad there.
A lot of TCG players that feel that the space is no longer for them,
Go on, say
because
it.
of Konami's consistent mishandling of the TCG,
Yep, duck.
are migrating to Master Duel because it's good.
that predate Master Duel. I'm not saying that's what MBT is doing here specifically. I just think that far too many people are going
I've changed my mind. He is what he's doing. This is what he's doing. He's one of those idiots. He's a TCG supremacist. Fuck him.
to latch onto this video and use it as some
Shit,
sort of
make it against
justification
them
for
then.
their
Don't
frustrations,
involve
very
me.
real, genuine frustrations with the TCG, and try and scapegoat Master Duel. I think MBT made a good video in the sense that it is just this love letter to the TCG, an abode to a thing that made us who we are and where we are now today, especially as content creators, careers that we wouldn't have had without this game. So while the video does raise genuine, good, important points that I also want to see
Yo, Peeps came up with a great slur for Master Duel only players. He calls us togglers. I love that.
solved. I just think that in a period of panic and confusion,
likewise,
people
we
want
could call
answers.
TCG
People
only
want
players. What do you want to call them? I think
blame
shufflers
something
is a
for
good
why
one.
something is going wrong or not working.
Bro
And
has
in
to
order
physically
find
pick up
those
his deck. What
answers,
an asshole.
I think
Like, what
we're
a
trying to make
lazy
connections
dick.
and create
Bro
associations
has to
when
shuffle his own deck.
there aren't any.
I mean, the closest thing I'm getting here is that
Oh, I'm getting close.
he thinks time travel has nothing to do with time travel. The time travel, the math.
Can we please verify this? I don't think there's a way to actually verify this right now because I don't think there has been an official time travel event yet in NA. But I am 90% sure they're not changing the card pool. They're changing the rules. We'll wait and see.
Master Duel event has nothing to do with time travel, the event that's replacing Time Wizard.
Because that would be crazy if they're actually doing that. If NA genuinely decides to use the specific ban list, then I will accept that point. Again, to be clear, I don't think that it's a bad point that Master Duel is influencing the Time Wizard change. It could be likely. I just think it's more likely that it's logistic related. You know?
To that end, all I got to say is, you know, Papa John style, you know, the day of reckoning is coming.
Correlation. I do see some.
You know,
I
wait and
think
see.
it could be possible. I've said this like multiple times. I don't know why you're being
but other
deliberately
than that,
obtuse and contrarian. I have
it's
said
kind
this
of a
multiple
weird
times.
video.
It could be possible.
Like
I
you
just
start,
think it's
I
less
start the
possible.
video by being like, despite the fact that there were a lot of people at the WCQ, it felt like it was everyone who cared about TCG. And he's like, there were a lot of people at the WCQ. Then I go, they're replacing Time Wizard with time travel. And he goes, that could be anyone's time travel. Then I go,
That could be anyone.
all the content creators are making Master Duel content. And he goes, what about Jesse? He did one tier list 15 videos ago. Then he goes, Konami's making a lot of money, which I don't think correlates to any of my arguments. Then I go, product's bad. And he goes, product's bad. And then House of
Product's
Champs
bad.
goes, product's bad.
Product's bad.
And then we conclude.
Product's bad.
It's just a strange, it's a strange video. I think he wanted my video to like have more arguments in it, and it just didn't. It was just more like an observational video. That's
Joseph, if you made an observational video, that would have been great. I would have loved it. I would have given it a 10 out of 10. The problem is you framed it through a different argument. That's all I gotta say. That's it. It's just that simple. You framed it differently.
on me. I could have been like more of an asshole. I think he read the title and he was like, "Okay,
More
I've
of an
already
wait,
inferred
he
the
hasn't even
entirety of
reached,
his
like,
argument. No reason to watch
Ultra
the video,"
instinct
which is
asshole?
fair.
I can't believe it gets worse than this.
Did Farfa thank you for the free content this week? 56K? He doesn't have to thank me. Look at this. That's low for the boy.
Yo, is he
98 on
analyzing my
Storage
views now?
Wars.
Oh my god, dude.
124 on Storage Wars.
We've reached the ad hominem part of the video. We reached the ad hominem part of the video.
Jesus Christ, Storage Wars is doing crazy.
I agree with Joseph's vid overall, to be fair. Again, I too agree with the video overall. That's the point. That's why I think it's like not good. It's because it takes a lot of truths and then somehow relates it to something that isn't true. That's my issue with it.
The subscriber video did bad. Nah.
What is
Farfa
this?
takes way more risks in his content than I do.
Yeah, I upload what I want. I can't wait for the magic video. All right, we done? We're about done.
Yeah, Dyer, you're fine to do that.
I think we're done. Holy. This was a football match for React.
Need to hear your point on Jesse's video?
Yes, Jesse made a
Man,
good
I really
video
don't
about
want
this.
to do it because it's like 40 minutes long. It's 20 minutes long? I can do this.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Might
What if
be
we
done.
react him reacting to
It's
Jesse?
a tough
Okay, make the video about Jesse, Farfa.
thing to say out
You
loud,
won't,
but
bitch.
over the last many
Do you know what the difference is with Jesse's video? He doesn't blame Master Duel. Thank you everyone for coming to my TED Talk. I would say keep it respectful in the comments, but if you weren't going to do that, you've already left a slur down there already, so see you later. Bye-bye.